Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Now that my two obligatory informative videos are done for the day, it's time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. And I had someone link me a video by the Buff Dudes in which one of them, and I guess his name is Brandon, had put on 15 pounds of muscle in the last few months. And he asked me, Jason, do you think he did this natural? And it's just like, you lost your damn mind. Have you ever heard of anybody putting on 15 pounds of muscle in a few months natural? It can't even be done biologically. So let me go ahead and put on my +5 out of weaponsmithing, work on skill up my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about this. Normally in this segment, I do tend to be an asshole. I do tend to go in pretty hard on people. I'm not going to really do that this time because honestly, he doesn't seem like a bad person. Like when I look at what this guy did in the video, I watched the video because I don't really watch these guys. I don't know anything about them. Uh, he didn't strike me as a dick. He doesn't really strike me as someone trying to con people. I don't even think he claimed he was natural at any point. I listened to the entire video, and not once did I hear him ever claim natural, drug free, any of that nonsense, right? So I didn't see that, and I didn't see him pimping any products, trying to sell anybody any garbage. So, when I look at it that way, and he seems like a pretty genuine, nice guy for the most part. From what I can tell, it seems to be a guy who's passionate about fitness, passionate about his training, eats a good diet. He at least started with some heavy deadlifts in the beginning of the video. I think him and the other guy, I think it's his brother, they were doing some decently heavy deadlifts. So they're obviously training hard. Uh, he promoted really good nutrition all through the video. So all in all, I'm not going to stand here and be a dick and say, "Oh, he's some terrible person because he's not fessing up about his gear use." Like, there's no need to go there. We know the guy's on gear. All right, let's just be honest here. But I didn't see him claiming natty. He's hanging out with people who use gear, hanging out with a chick who she's obviously on a little bit of sauce. And that's okay. That's the norm in the fitness world, particularly people who are making their livings off of it. The only problem becomes when they are claiming natural results and using it to sell products. I didn't see any of that happen in this video. And I'm going to go out there and say, people who use gear, who do any other things in their lifestyle that can be unhealthy is probably a bad idea. Now, I watched what the guy ate. This is a guy who, okay, maybe he's going to have some health risks from other stuff he's putting into his body, but his diet is pretty immaculate. His diet was completely on point. There was no garbage in it. There was no refined sugars. There was no trans fats. He's not frying his food. He's not sitting around eating junk food. He ate a lot of calories. But you start looking at what this guy was eating. Look at what the guy was eating. I'm going to go out on a limb and say most of the health problems and concerns he might have from using a little bit of gear is probably going to be offset by eating that well. Because the guy's diet was really on point. You look at what he ate. What were his carb sources? Steel cut oats, potatoes. I think he ate some bananas. Uh, that's about as clean as you're going to get in terms of just quality food. He was eating lean ground beef, a little bit of whole eggs, salmon, right? Adding a little olive oil to stuff, natural peanut butter, lots of green vegetables, right? He's getting a lot of vitamin K and other stuff in there. Again, that's one of our big deals. So I tell a lot of guys out there, vitamin K deficiency can be linked with heart disease. Uh, again, that can be a problem. It can be exacerbated with your gear use, but he was eating plenty of vitamin K, lots of green stuff in there. Realistically, this guy's diet was fantastic. The guy's diet was fantastic. And even though he was eating enough to gain weight, again, there's no real junk in there. And he probably did minimize with his quality of food, keeping his activity high. He probably minimized his fat gain. Now, what I do like in there, even though I might not like the fact that he's not saying, "Hey guys, when you're at this point where I'm at, if you put on even 5 pounds of muscle in a year, you're going to need drugs to do it." Right? From the base he already had built, you're not going to gain 5 pounds of muscle in a single year without drugs. Most advanced lifters, most advanced lifters, we are really lucky if we can gain 1 pound of muscle. Right? We're lucky if we can gain a pound of muscle in a year. See that with lots of guys out there who have a lot of years of training under their belt. They'll do a bulk and then a cut and gain 1 pound at the same body fat, 2 pounds. That's normal. That's normal. Now, he knows he didn't gain all muscle. So you have the video titles kind of clickbait. I gained 15 pounds of muscle. But then even he admitted in there, yeah, due to the overeating, the anabolic processes involved. Uh, I did gain a little bit of fat in there. So some of that's going to be fat. And that's good that he acknowledges that, and he's not telling guys that you're going to gain significant amounts of muscle completely lean, completely ripped. And the point that people need to remember also, though, sometimes when you gain a significant amount of muscle, even if you gain a little bit of fat with it, you don't even notice the fat because you just look so much bigger a lot of times after a period of bulking. If the body fat gain was kept low, that you can't even always tell that you gained any fat. You might end up looking fuller and bigger and everything else. Not that I care about the whole bodybuilding game, but all in all, you look at what the guy ate. Diet was on point. And if he kept his activity level high, he ate that good. Again, quality of food can matter a little bit as far as how much extra fat and stuff you gain. I'm not saying it's the be all end all, because it certainly isn't, and it's still about calories in, calories out. But the content of your food can affect how much fat you gain on the bulk. It can absolutely affect it, even though you're going to gain some fat. Keeping your activity high, energy turnover high, conditioning work, all that stuff. And again, he talked about keeping his activity levels really high. That can help. That can matter a little bit with the nutrient partitioning. Not going to be enormous, but that stuff does matter if someone is really trying to maximize body composition. The downside of what I saw, though, is that all the supplements. It's like, look, bro, I don't know why you're taking all this stuff. None of it works. Like collagen, why would anybody take collagen? Why would you supplement collagen? I mean, from a nutritional perspective, that's insane. It's an incomplete, crappy protein. And it's not like you consume collagen and then it puts more collagen into your body. Your body makes collagen out of any other protein that you eat. Your body can make collagen just as easily out of chicken or salmon or whey protein as it can out of a collagen supplement. In fact, it's the exact same process. Your body doesn't identify that. It's not like when you consume collagen that it's still collagen when it hits your bloodstream. It's just broken down into amino acids. It breaks it completely down. Right? Proteins do not enter your bloodstream from your digestive system. If they do, you're in trouble. So let me state that again. The type of protein that you eat in that regard doesn't matter. It's the amino acids that hit your bloodstream. Your body, your digestive system breaks it down. If you still have proteins after you've digested them that get into your bloodstream, that make it through the barrier in your intestine, it can actually hurt you. Right? That can actually cause health problems. It can attack your immune system. It can damage your body. Like you can get really, really sick from that. So that's not what's happening. So you're just consuming another source of protein. So collagen supplements are kind of stupid. Again, felt the same thing. The guy kind of went heavy on all the protein shakes. Why, man? You're eating all this whole food. You don't need them. Like you could have just eaten another piece of chicken, another piece of salmon. Problem would have been solved. But I get it. He's trying to consume enough food every day. Right? He's eating a lot. He's eating a lot of whole foods in there, a lot of bulky foods, a lot of fiber, a lot of vegetables in there. And so maybe he just needed it for the extra food, in which case I understand. I just wish he would have explained that and instead of just kind of leaving it there and saying, hey, it's like you need it, because you don't need it. You don't need it. Also that he mentioned you don't need a protein shake immediately post-workout. That's good, because that's the truth is you don't. It doesn't matter. The whole anabolic window thing, the way it's been described, has been debunked by sports nutritionists, all the research, all the experts. It's complete bullshit used to sell products. I'm glad that he acknowledged that. So, I mean, I'll give props for that stuff. There was actually, decent advice. I mean, basically, if someone was watching and they were just following his advice on gaining muscle, they would know that they need a caloric surplus, they need to gain weight, they're going to have to accept a little bit of body fat gain. But he also showed, hey, you need to eat really, really well. That it's better if you eat whole foods and you eat quality foods and a quality diet when you're bulking up. So I don't think he set a bad example there in any way. The training, yeah, that was kind of a bad example because, again, let's be honest. The only people who are going to get jacked doing that much fluff and pump and bro splits and partials, you're going to need drugs. For a drug-free lifter, some of the training that I observed was not particularly good. Again, there was no real lifting done there. There was nothing in the actual training footage that he put up that I would look at and go, man, that's a good way to get really, really jacked. Maybe the seated dumbbell presses, but even that is not going to compare in terms of the size you would get from a good standing barbell press, right? So again, a lot of fluff in there, and then even a lot of some of the smaller movements were done as partials. And anyone who looks at it, we know that partials build less muscle, not even subject to debate anymore. So the training itself was a little fluffy. Again, but if you're going to blast gear and you're going to eat a caloric surplus and you're going to take a hefty amount of drugs, you can train that way and get big just fine. It's going to work. But for everybody else, you guys need to remember data's overwhelming. Size equals strength when drugs don't go into the mix. And by that same token, again, if the guy was completely clean, those deadlifts wouldn't be enough to get him to the size. His proportions, his strength to size ratio wasn't there, right, for someone who's drug free. And that was kind of a giveaway early on in the video too for those who aren't understanding, who don't realize that maybe they didn't realize the guy's using a little bit of gear. His deadlift was decent. They were doing some decent deadlifting, but for a guy his body weight, a guy his size, his deadlift was a couple 100 pounds short. Again, if he was doing it drug free and had trained completely drug free and had built everything up in that manner using strength training and nice heavy weights to build the amount of size he had, he'd be a lot stronger on that. But I can still respect the fact that he showed a heavy deadlift early on in the video. Again, I do like that set a positive tone. I like the fact that the guy was eating really well and telling people, look, stay active, eat a good healthy diet, a balanced diet, don't just eat a bunch of shit when you want to bulk up. So it's not like it was a bad video. It wasn't a negative video. I'm not really going to trash on it. And he didn't claim natural at any point in there, and that was a big deal. That's a big deal, because if the guy tried to spin it as, hey, I did this completely clean, then we got a problem. Then he's a con artist. All right, guys. Well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.